Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world or universe. I'm Vanya Silverton, and I am a master energy healer and teacher. And today we're going to continue the journey of incarnation because it is the most wildest adventure you will ever take. It is the most brilliant adventure you will ever take, and it will test you like nothing else. But goddamn, will it make sure that you find yourself, you find your authentic truth, you find your sovereignty, you set your boundaries. It will make sure that you become clear in who you are with your thoughts and your emotions and your choices. And it will make sure that you know how to master your life, because that is what incarnation is. Incarnation is I will incarnate my soul, which is divine and magnificent and connected to the love of the universe and the light of the universe and the truth of the universe and the power of the universe. And I will incarnate that into my human body, which might be filled with all sorts of weird and wonderful things like genetic stuff, collective consciousness stuff, stuff that we've collected from our mother, our father, our life experiences, our heartbreaks, maybe some inherited illnesses. And our soul must move through all of that stuff. Our karmic body, it must move through all of that stuff until it learns the lessons, it learns to know its power, to evolve that which is dense so that you can move forward into reality with the totality of who you are. And it's a journey and it's beautiful. And every day, every breath, every moment, every thought, every action, you have an opportunity to step deeper into your truth and transform that which is not your truth. And really, I think that is the most simplest key to incarnation. It's like, I will move and I will do and I'll shift and I'll change and I'll question and I'll reflect and I will observe and I'll make a new choice or a new action to dissolve that which isn't true so I can step into truth. And that makes this journey very interesting and exciting. And sometimes it can also be very confronting, and it's going to make you face things and see things. It'll make sure that you pull away any masks or illusions, right? It will break free from patterns with people, cords, entanglements, contracts which don't serve you, so that you can step deeper into your truth. And once we kind of get to that point, we're kind of rocking it. We're kind of flowing with a new sense of self. It's very easy for us to speak up. It's very easy for us to say no, and no means no. It's very easy for us to put up our boundaries. It's very easy for us to know our visions, what we'd like to create, the types of people we'd like to be with, the kind of lifestyle we would like. It becomes very easy. It becomes very easy to notice the synchronicities that are happening, or the opportunities, or the aha moments. It becomes very easy to notice the inspirations, the downloads, the transmissions, the activations that are coming from the universe into us to keep advancing and evolving us. And so once we start to move into this journey, incarnation becomes a very magical journey. And that's what we're wanting to get through. We have to move out of healing, right? Healing our stuff. And we have to learn to move into creating our stuff, our new life, and then learn to also create with a very beautiful universe. And it's a choice, right? It's a choice we make from moment to moment, because although there is a lot of stickiness here, a lot of density, a lot of things that you think, oh my God, I can't believe wars are still happening, or people are still treating people like this, and I can't believe that my mother is still behaving this way, or my father, or my family, or whatever, even though you may have evolved out of some of this stuff, right? Beyond all of that is a very, very beautiful universe that we must learn to incarnate into. So I think on one level, we're learning to incarnate into our body, we're learning to incarnate into earth, and we're also learning to incarnate back into heaven, right? And heaven being the love and the abundance and all that beautiful stuff and all that magic and evolution and synchronicities that take place. And so when we understand this, we understand that we have an origin point, right? And a horizon point. And our origin is divine, and our horizon and our direction is divine. And that becomes some beautiful points to play with, so that instead of me going, well, I am because of my family, or I am because of my life, or I am because of whatever, we can go deeper into a more brilliant origin, which is actually, I come from divinity, I come from love, I come from abundance. And I can have thoughts and awarenesses of that. And I use that to navigate my life. And through that, I learn to keep moving towards it in my life. I keep learning to create my life back into heaven. And so, as much of a cliche it is, there is this saying, living heaven on earth. And I truly think that is probably the ultimate mastery that we have here with our incarnation journey. And that mastery is what helps shift the collective consciousness. And that mastery is what helps, enliven and better the world. And that mastery is what makes families better. It helps shift the DNA within us. It helps create better communication with everybody. It generates more peace. It generates more harmony, and more abilities to empower people, so that there is power is creating more power, abundance is creating more abundance, love is creating more love. And we've got to keep believing in that, because if we don't have this trajectory of where we're going, we can get really disheartened by life, because there is a lot of other stuff out there which can bring us down and make us feel a little bit hopeless. And then we forget our inner power, and we forget to use that drive of our ability to have choice, or our ability to evolve, or our ability to create and become creators of our life. So know that point. It's really, 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 really important. And so just know all that. The incarnation is ultimately, you're incarnating into your body, but you're ultimately incarnating back into heaven. And so keep following the trail of light, because it's there with you and around you all the times in many, many different ways. So just to get a little bit less transcendental with you. Sometimes these words, that they're transmissions, they're activations, they might also spark a memory inside of you, or a remembrance of self. So they are beautiful, so use them. But to bring it back down to the more earthly level, so basically we have a solar eclipse coming tomorrow, which means that the sun and the moon and the earth are all coming into alignment. And, the way I look at that, it's also our soul and our mind and our body learning to come into alignment. And this is also part of, our incarnation journey, is when we become a total force, when our mind and our heart and our body and our actions all operate as one total force, total energy, so that we can propel forward. Because really, if we don't have ourselves in our totality, we get swayed, we get muffled, our head's saying one thing, our heart's wanting to do something else, we're getting pulled in a different direction. I often used to think that there was three people in me. My head would say one thing, my heart would say another thing, and my sexuality would do something completely different. I'll be like, whoa, what am I doing? Living three lives at once here. This is not working for me. But the eclipse really helps us to recognize that there is this moment where we have to come into alignment and be in our totality and move forward from that. And there's a beautiful saying: if you can't see your shadow, then you're not standing in your own light enough. And so this is also what incarnation is. It says, the more I stand in my light, the more I stand in my sovereignty and the truth of who I am, the more I can see the shadows around me. The more I can see the shadows of my behavior that's still out of alignment, the more I can see the shadows of relationships that aren't behaving up to standard, right? The more I can see the shadows in certain areas of my habits, right? Because I'm starting to stand in my totality and in the light of who I am. So what you're going to find with this eclipse, or eclipse season, because usually there's like a lunar eclipse and then a solar eclipse, so there's like a season, happens twice a year, is that you will feel, and it's a time of like radical transformation for you to step into totality. So what does that mean? It means that the stuff that is outdated, that is not coming into alignment, will come up for you to look at. So it can be a little bit intense. So what's just happened to me recently is, obviously I need to come into head, mind, body, heart, deeper alignment, so I can propel forward more with my work. I can give my work with more strength. I can have more energy to hold more capacity, to teach more courses, to deliver higher quality work, to then open up to sessions, to be a mom, to have a great life. I need more of my energy on side with me, so that I can just move forward in my dharmic path, right? Now, of course, my heart hasn't been able to keep up with it, because my heart, my beautiful little heart, has had a massive abandonment neglect wound, right? And so the last few days, it's been really intense at my end, crying and everything, because this wound came up inside of me. And it came up because my whole being's moving into totality. Sun with earth's coming in alignment, body, mind, heart, soul coming into alignment. The wound of my abandonment can't no longer come along for the journey. It's just slowing things down, right? So what will an abandonment wound do? And we all have abandonment wounds, some of us have bigger ones than others. Some of us have different types of wounds, and it really doesn't matter the story of how the abandonment got created. We just can't carry it forward. But this abandonment room was slowing me down, right? Slowing me down, making me feel like I was rejected or needed validation or second guessing myself or not feeling good enough and all that kerfuffle that comes with being stuck in abandonment and neglect and not being cared for and not being loved, right? So it's a big wound. But it creates a victim mentality. And that victim mentality slows us down, right? So of course, the rest of me is like, no, we're moving forward now. And this wound has to go. It can't come along with. Like as we move into alignment, this wound has to now, it will come up to the surface for us to feel enough, for me to look at so that I can move through it. So that my heart goes and can come into alignment and I can move forward. Right. And then I can move forward in a whole new way. So anyways, I spent the last, I don't know, I think it started maybe 2 weeks ago when I had a massive healing and clearing by a very dear friend of mine, who managed to clear out a lot of deep, toxic female mother wounds from me out of my system. And then, anyway, that cleared out. And then, anyway, blah, blah, blah. Then I got to the second part of the healing, which was abandonment, right? And so, long story short, without going into all the details. So obviously I'm like, this wound's coming up and I'm crying and crying, crying because I feel so unloved and uncared and it hurts and it's raw. And like, usually what I would do is if I felt abandoned or triggered, I just shut down. I've got a massive, amazing defense system, which would just shut me down, turn into ice maiden, not feel anything and just charge on, right? That's how I would usually operate. But I knew I couldn't let my defense come down over this. Even though it hurts, I kind of had to sit with it. I had to be with it. I had to feel it. I had to cry through it. I had to be in the fear of it and the anxiety of it and the panic of it and just breathe and know that it was just coming up to shift and clear. Because I don't want to carry it forward anymore, right? And so in this eclipse period, it is a lot of incarnation stuff that starts to happen. The stuff that you can no longer carry forward is going to come up, right? So expect some interesting stuff to happen, right? Expect stuff in your relationships that aren't working to flare up and you have to solve it. Expect deep wounds to come up that you can no longer move forward to deal with. Expect habits that are not serving you, that are staring you now right in the face that you cannot no longer move forward with them will come up. Work situations. All of this stuff will come up for you to look at and face and for you to say, actually, I don't want this anymore. This is not part of my life and this is not part of my reality. I know I cannot move forward anymore with this. So it's going to come up. So sit with that. Be present with it. Be like, thank the heavens this has come out. No matter how intense it is, like let it come up. Breathe through it. Let it go. Release it. Shake it out. It's beautiful and it's perfect and it's meant to happen. Because through that, we clear out our being. That wound goes, the emotions of that wound go, the inadequacy goes, the fear goes, the mind gets clearer. I'm not trying to solve the wound anymore. I can get clearer in myself. I can know who I am without that wound. I can know what my thoughts are now without that wound. I can know my actions without that wound. And I come into alignment. And so tomorrow we have the solar eclipse. So then what happens around this time around, you might have gone through all this stuff and then things start to just move into alignment and you get more clarity of who you are. You get more sense of this is what I want. This is not what I want. So expect yourself to actually speak with more clarity or say the things that you're needing to say, right? Or have a new awareness of self, This is who I am, like a more sovereign brilliance arrives because you're now realigning in your totality. And so, of course, once we realign, we've got to make some actions. There might be some stuff you need to do to reorganize your life to come into alignment with you. So go do it, because oftentimes we have alignments and we don't do the actions around it to make life move, right? It could be decluttering your house, having a conversation, quitting your job, whatever the thing is, right? We got to make the action. because we're playing with physical reality. We don't make the action physical reality. It doesn't move so quickly, right? So that is part of the journey, right? And we want to be clear and total in who we are. We want to be alive in who we are. We want to feel clear. We want clear thoughts, clear communication with our own being. We want clear communication with the universe. We want clear communication with friends and colleagues. We want clear communication with our visions and our purpose. We want that clarity and that communication so we can move forward with greater ease and greater precision. And clarity is a beautiful thing. And that's why incarnating and learning to incarnate, shifting out the wounds, the blocks, learning to come into alignment with self brings clarity. And clarity is brilliance. And it's a journey. It's obviously a lifelong journey on one level, but we want to be stepping into more and more clarity every single day, more and more clarity every day. And we have to push ourselves a little bit sometimes. It's really easy to mope around. Victim. And actually, you've got a lot of clarity and a lot of brilliance inside of you that you can be calling upon. So keep pushing yourself against your boundaries. Keep pushing yourself up against these edges. Keep knowing where your horizon is, right? Where you're going. You're incarnating back into heaven. And we've got to keep playing with that, because it's very easy to get distracted and play with something else. And if we look at the beautiful tantric paths, they say it doesn't matter what you play with, you can still find heaven, right? So it's also learning to play consciously with everything in your life to move it in the direction that gets you closer to peace and truth and harmony and power. So important. We really have to know this truth. So I think that's all I need to say. So take a deep breath. Let all the codes kind of come into your body. Let it wriggle through your being, through your body. I want to give yourself a wiggle and a shake. Maybe it's just time to, I don't know, click your fingers around you, cut some cords with some old energy. Maybe you just want to vomit up some stuff, old bits. Like sometimes it's just good to, it can be as quick as that, right? The shift can be as quick as that. We don't need to go on massive healing journeys, right? It could be just as simple as getting the truth, resetting, calibrating, shifting out the old stuff and moving on, and we need to get quicker and quicker, because let me tell you, this world's pretty amazing when you start to play with it. And if you start to play with it, you're going to get more creative, which means you're going to start to create things, and you're going to have more energy to do more things. And then you're going to have to open up your capacity, and then you just be more and blah, 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 right? So we've got to get more precise. We don't want parts of us slowing ourselves down. And they talk about quantum leaping, your quantum leap. Well, actually, the reason you quantum leap is because you're not slowing yourself down with all this other baggage, right? So don't slow yourself down. So much love to you all. It's so good to be here. Take a deep breath. I think I need to take a deep breath. So, beautiful people, enjoy the solar eclipse. I have a free Total Brilliance Masterclass. You'll find the link somewhere. I think we did on the Total Eclipse this year. It's got some amazing codes around sovereignty and brilliance. So if you're needing like a spark of life and a reset, go and do that masterclass. There'll be a link somewhere around in the vicinity. And what else can I tell you? I'm celebrating my daughter. Yay! She applied for school counselor. And she did a little manifesto, and she was practicing her speech this morning. And then today she came home and she said she got in. So she's now her class representative for the year. So I'm very, very proud of her. It's a good little confidence boost for her, because she usually kind of sits back a little bit and doesn't step into the role of the leader. So I'm super proud mom. So celebrating that. And also celebrating all the amazing things that have been happening for me. Like literally in the last 2 weeks, I was like, I've got my whole work. I've called it the Eclipse Experience. I know it's a bit wild because it's deep and it's expansive and it's transformative. And this week, so much has come down about it. I've got the vision I need to have for the next 3 or 4 years. All the courses are falling into places. I've got a whole incarnation journey, an abundance journey, a love journey, a business journey. Like it's getting super powerful, and I'm really really happy for that. We've had someone jump in for the whole year experience just recently. So it's building. So if you're wanting to come and hang out and really master who you are, master yourself as a leader, master yourself as a visionary, master yourself as a coach, a healer, a channel, a mystic, a seer, a priestess, we are bringing all of this together and giving you the tools to alchemize it so you can come forward super strong beacon in this world, because this world needs more people that are really holding the light strongly, really needing more. So if you know that this is your path, right? If you know you've got a light inside of you that needs to exist and you want to get super strong and super supported through it all, then come and join me for the whole year journey. We have the eclipse experience. You're welcome into that. And it's so beautiful. We divide it into 3 seasons, right? Because it's such a beautiful big body of work. We've got the mystic season, which is all about intuition, psychicness, seeing, channeling information, card reading, illuminated prosperity, like touching the higher fields of possibilities. So mystic season's all around enlightenment, right? So we do a whole big couple of months around enlightenment. Then we move into temple season, and temple season's all about embodiment, the body, soul incarnation into the body. We do our embodiment coaching certification. We do the living goddess and living priestess retreats. We do our femme fortune, where we learn to move into female, energetics and surrender to the universe. We do the power of presence as well, because it's all about really being embodied. And what we're coming up to now in the season is creator season. And it's all around creation, leadership, finding your dharma, becoming a beacon of light, moving into business, really being powerful in this world. And they all puzzle together, like they all work together. So enlightenment, embodiment, empowerment. And what we do in the eclipse experience is we give you 2 years. So you can come around for 2 years so that you can really step out as a powerful, extraordinary being in this world. So I welcome you to come and explore, or come just do the Total Brilliance free masterclass. It is super amazing. There's some amazing activations in there. As always, I do like to transmit and activate. So that is happening. And what else can I tell you that's happening in my world and in my life? My daughter, my heartbreak, and yeah, just trying to be a beautiful juggling mom. I tell you, I'm great at juggling. I can juggle work and business and good times and all of that all at once. So just celebrating the juggler within me as well. But anyways, enjoy this journey. Enjoy the eclipse season. It really is strong and powerful. Just get present with that which is slowing you down, and be present with that. Let go of the illusions and the masks. Step into deeper alignment and know that you're here to incarnate into heaven. Yeah. And I might as well, I've got my beautiful deck of cards, which I created. They're called Soul Star cards. They're so amazing. They're a little bit like tarot cards and oracle cards, but they're more like destiny cards. They're really here for life mastery. And there's a whole incarnation journey in this as well. So let's see which 2 cards want to come out. Okay, interesting. So one is broken records, and the second one is transcendence, and the third one is collective. Okay, let's go with it. Okay, so just to kind of tie in everything, obviously on one deep level, we're moving into a place of transcendence, where we're wanting to awaken to the truth of who we are and the truth of the universe, and to know it, body, mind, heart, soul. Like, I know heaven is me, heaven exists around me. Like that is the journey. And that's the journey that all monks and spiritual people have been on, to hold the light here. And we have to do the same. And unfortunately, there is a lot of like sludge in the collective consciousness that can sometimes make us feel like we're in a bit of a broken record and not being able to move through the collective. Right? Now, humans, the way we've evolved out of being tribal. We're evolved to believing the family, believing the tribe, believing the collective, believing the society. We find our identity there. And if we don't recognize our sovereignty and a deeper choice that we have, we're going to be caught in the broken records of the collective and just get collected and moved and do what everyone else does and says and in the wonderful soup, right? In the broken record. And so really this card is saying, can we let go of all of that? And can we choose the deeper strands of light that exist in you? Can you choose the deeper strands of your power that exist in you? Can you choose the deeper strands of truth that exist within you? Because they're currents of energy and they're eternal and they're infinite and they're stable. Can you keep choosing those parts of you? Even if in the beginning it just feels like a glimmer and a little bit, can you just keep choosing it until it gets bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger until the collective broken record just becomes fainter and fainter and fainter and fainter, and you get to arrive. So yeah, enjoy that. These cards are super, super amazing. All right, gorgeous people. I think that is it. Enjoy the solar eclipse. Come and do the Total Brilliance free masterclass. It is beautiful. Get some Oracle deck cards. Come hang out in the eclipse experience. Celebrate yourself. Go for a dance. Make sure that your mind and your heart and your body and your sexuality and everything becomes one total force. And remember, you're always incarnating into heaven. So let's end with a prayer, because I feel like prayers are really good to end with all the time, just to seal the energy through the universe. So Mother, Father, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, our families, the winds, the waters, the earth, the sea, the lands, the birds, the bees, the trees, the sun, the moon, the stars, the sky. We thank you for who we are and who we are all becoming.